Virginia, a member of the American Dental Association, the Northern Virginia Dental Society, and the Virginia Dental Society. Price is considered an expert in Invisalign and continues to be an award-winning innovator in the industry. This content is brought to you by Dental Associates. For more than 39 years, Dr. Stephen Price has been practicing dentistry in Northern Virginia. A member of the American Dental Association, the Northern Virginia Dental Society, and the Virginia Dental Society, Price is considered an expert in Invisalign and continues to be an award-winning innovator in the industry. This content is brought to you by Dental Associates. For more than 39 years, Dr. Stephen Price has been practicing dentistry in Northern Virginia. A member of the American Dental Association, the Northern Virginia Dental Society, and the Virginia Dental Society, Price is considered an expert in Invisalign and continues to be an award-winning innovator in the industry. This content is brought to you by Dental Associates. For more than 39 years, Dr. Stephen Price has been practicing dentistry in Northern Virginia. A member of the American Dental Association, the Northern Virginia Dental Society, and the Virginia Dental Society, Price is considered an expert in Invisalign and continues to be an award-winning innovator in the industry. This content is brought to you by Dental Associates. For more than 39 years, Dr. Stephen Price has been practicing dentistry in Northern Virginia. A member of the American Dental Association, the Northern Virginia Dental Society, and the Virginia Dental Society, Price is considered an expert in Invisalign and continues to be an award-winning innovator in the industry. This content is brought to you by Dental Associates. For more than 39 years, Dr. Stephen Price has been practicing dentistry in Northern Virginia. A member of the American Dental Association, the Northern Virginia Dental Society, and the Virginia Dental Society, Price is considered an expert in Invisalign and continues to be an award-winning innovator in the industry. This content is brought to you by Dental Associates. For more than 39 years, Dr. Stephen Price has been practicing dentistry in Northern Virginia. A member of the American Dental Association, the Northern Virginia Dental Society, and the Virginia Dental Society, Price is considered an expert in Invisalign and continues to be an award-winning innovator in the industry.
All right, welcome everybody and to another edition of Redskins Relaunch. I'm your host, Winston Hylton. Thank you again for joining us. You are looking live here in the DMVSTREAM.COM studios in Northern Virginia. We thank you very much for joining us. We got my man Cam hitting the switches on the side. And yeah, there you are. Thank you very much. Listen, I know it's been a couple of weeks. Matter of fact, it's last time we spoke, we were talking about the Super Bowl. But now that that is over and you know, a certain team in red and gold have been crowned champions. There's a lot to go through. There's a lot to decipher. There's a lot to unpack with the NFL offseason as we are now underway, knocking on the doors open. We are officially in NFL offseason. Redskins making several moves over the past week, as well as a move over the past 12 hours that we'll get to here later on in the show. Also, we'll talk about the Super Bowl 54, right? LIV. I just called it Super Bowl LIV without the E. You know, we'll talk about that. What a fearsome foursome can do for you. You saw evidence in the Super Bowl of what a strong front four can do for you. It almost brought one team to the championship. We'll talk about that later on in the show and how that can relate to the Redskins. Also, let's go ahead and start the argument right now. What should the Redskins do at that number 2 pick? What can they do? Obviously, there's a wild card in Cincinnati. Yeah, you're like, okay, no, of course they're going to take Joe Burrow. But will they? We'll discuss. Also, football is not over, by the way. NFL offseason may be upon us. But the XFL is strong, and it's underway. Matter of fact, the strongest team in the league is your DC Defenders. We'll talk about that coming up later on in the show. Plus, the NBA All-Star Game. I want to get some of your thoughts about that. The whole weekend, the entire weekend, was it good? Was it bad? What did you like? What didn't you like? I want to hear your thoughts. You can hit us up on the DMVSTREAM.com Facebook page, or on Twitter, or on Tinder, or on YouTube, or on LinkedIn. Let's see, what else do we have? Periscope. Social media. We're here. We're out here. Get at us. We want to see your comments. Was Bill snubbed by the All-Star in All-Star weekend? Was he snubbed? What's wrong with the Capitals? What's going on? Holtby is, and at that point, Samsonov, neither one playing really well. But there are reasons to why they're not playing well. Also, guess what? It's spring. It's spring, everybody. It is spring. Finally, we get to put on those baseball caps, the curly W's, and we get to talk about your defending world champion Washington Nationals, who have officially reported to spring training. Matter of fact, today was day 2 of full squad workouts. So we'll talk about that later on in the show. Plus, we'll continue our conversation about the Washington Redskins. Let's get to that right now. The Redskins officially saying bye-bye to Josh Norman, officially saying bye-bye to Paul Richardson. What to make of those moves. But breaking earlier today was Adrian Peterson. The club exercised the club option on him, so that means that he will return in the burgundy and gold for the 2020 season. Maybe the starter, might not be the starter. We'll have to see. Look, the running back stable is kind of deep. You have AP, you have Darius Geis once he returns from injury. You have Bryce Love, who we have not seen yet, who was runner-up to the Heisman in 2017 at this point now. How long has it been? 2018, 19. It was 2008. It doesn't even matter. It was 1998 runner-up to the Heisman Trophy winner. We'll talk about those moves with our guest tonight. He has been on this show several times, co-hosted, and has hosted, and is fresh off of a, well, you know what? Well, I don't even want to talk about it yet. Okay, let's talk about the Redskins first. We're not even going to talk about his guard.
Talk about them
yeah,
first?
No. We're not. Okay. Yes, we do have to. It is
have
not
to.
called Kansas City Relaunch.
Oh, it's not?
It's called Redskins Relaunch.
Like
okay,
Kansas City all the time.
Yeah, no. Absolutely not. We're talking about the Redskins right now. Adrian Peterson, was that a good move to exercise his option?
Extremely strong move. Always good to be here with you on DMVSTREAM.com, Facebook Live, Redskins Relaunch. Yes, awesome move. He gives you depth. He's the ageless wonder. He has found the fountain of youth. He is taking not a cup. He is taking a gallon. He's taking a hydro flask of whatever is what's going on, okay? He's been the leading rusher on the team for the last 2 years.
You're talking about a guy that's 99 years old.
Right, and could have had 1,000 yards this year.
Yes.
Easily.
He should have.
Right, if Jay dresses him out.
Yes.
But Jay's not the coach anymore, so I guess it doesn't make any difference. But point being is that he's solid. And I think what Ron Rivera is trying to do is build that culture. And Adrian Peterson's the OG. And he gets a lot of respect in that locker room. And this team's going to get younger. I think this team's going to get a lot younger before it gets older. And you need pros. You need professional football players. And Adrian Peterson is that. So I think it's a great move. I think he can get, if he's healthy, which he tends to be, he's not going to miss a lot of games because of injuries and stuff. Maybe you can get him 10 touches a game. He's a great. Maybe he's your third down back.
I don't know.
Maybe
you know how AP is,
back.
man. AP wants the ball 99.9% of the time.
But he's got what, 2.2 million, 2.5 million in the deal. He should be happy with that. His role is secure. He's on the team. They re-signed him. I think he's going to fit in, and I think Ron Rivera is going to look to him for leadership. So not only what he can give you on the field, but off the field as well, what he gives you in the locker room, what he gives you in the running back room. Because that running back room, to your point, may change because you don't know what you're going to get with guys.
Yep.
You don't know what Bryce Love. We haven't seen Bryce Love in
2 years.
At least 6 years.
Yes.
So you don't know what he's going to give you. So you need something that you can depend upon, which is Adrian Peterson. And then if you want to dip in the draft, in a late round to get another running back, you can do that too. So it gives the team a lot of flexibility, and I think it was a great move.
I will agree with you on that statement. I think AP, just based off of the young running backs that they do have, he's almost like their, I wouldn't say father figure, but he's their big brother that some of those guys need in order to, learn how to be a professional. Bryce Love has been in the team facilities for over the past year. So you would think that he may have picked up something from Adrian Peterson. Same thing with Darius Geis. Darius Geis has said so on Twitter, that he has appreciated his relationship and not necessarily tutelage, but, appreciates the way that Adrian has shown guys the way.
Right.
Not only running back room, but everybody else.
Correct.
Your young receivers like McLaurin, your tight ends like Jeremy Sprinkle, some of the linemen, and most importantly, your Dwayne Haskins. So you want to see a guy that's professional. You want to see a guy that's going to be off season working, 28 hours of the day working on his body in order to get better for the season. So hopefully a lot of that has rubbed off on everybody.
And
in the
remember
team.
who his workout partner was last year?
Oh,
the big fella.
the guy.
The big
the
fella
guy
on the left tackle.
He didn't want to come.
The silverback.
Yeah.
Yeah, they're like that. So,
yes.
Maybe that's more of a move to signal to Trent that, hey, you're going to bring Adrian back, and so that's your dude. So you never know. You never know how these things are connected, so we'll see.
Yes. Also, news this week, the Redskins releasing Josh Norman, Redskins releasing Paul Richardson, all in an effort to basically save money. Josh Norman making way too much money.
Way too much money.
Okay, now let's not get it twisted, because Josh Norman was he worth the deal? No. Was he all 100% bad for this team? Maybe not. Don't know what Quentin Dunbar would have been without a Josh Norman right there next to him. Don't know what a Kendall Fuller would have been had Josh Norman not been next to him. So there's, and not
That's
only
a good
on
way of looking at
not
it.
only
That's interesting. I haven't heard anybody say that about his influence on the younger guys on the team. But the value, and this is where Washington runs into problems. We both know the history.
Yes.
The value that you got in the deal from him was not good.
correct.
So if you're going to pay, in other words, if you're going to pay that much money, you have to get a certain amount of performance out of him.
And that was obviously that's why he's not here anymore. Now, Paul Richardson, that's a different story because he was a guy that basically, he played for the Redskins about as much as I did.
Yeah, and that's another look, and this is gonna be interesting, Winston, because they're going to have cap space between letting Richardson go, letting Josh Norman go, letting Jordan Reed go.
Yes.
If they let Kerrigan go, that's going to free up a lot of money. So they'll have an opportunity to go out and get some free agents. And so I don't really want to see them take the whole cap and make a big splash and get another person like Josh Norman or, even a big deal. I like to see them spread that money out and address some of the depth problems that they have on the team.
Right.
And maybe find a guy who isn't as flashy, that they can do a deal with. Like at the tight end position, they're going to have to go out, if they want to get somebody experienced, they're going to go out and get an experienced NFL veteran. Now, will they overpay for him?
They
Hopefully
will.
not.
They
Hopefully
will.
not.
Because I have a feeling they're going to look for a guy like Hunter Henry from San Diego.
Right.
Who,
that's a guy you can take a chance on.
yes,
He's
you
got
can.
an injury history.
He's got injury history,
Right.
and I believe he's a restricted free agent. So you're going to have to come up off of something in order to get him here. In which case, are you ready to give up draft picks, assets, in order to bring a tight end here where you have Jeremy Sprinkle, who I'm still not giving up on. He's 6'11", 280 pounds, whatever.
If he hasn't done it by now, he's not going to do
I
it.
am not necessarily disagreeing with you on that, but again, what system was he in?
That's
What
true.
opportunities has he been given?
Correct.
The chances that he did have late in the season with Callahan, okay, he showed me a little something. The need from him now is consistency.
Okay, so here's the deal. So they were in the Greg Olson sweepstakes. You thought that would be a good fit
They were.
because
Right.
of Rivera's relationship with him, and he was his head coach. So Olson gets $7 million from Seattle.
Yes.
Had Washington paid $7 million for Greg Olson, would you have thought that was a good deal? Dun dun dun.
I'm going to say no.
No.
I'm going to say no.
Because why?
because age, availability, and you taking snaps away from some other young guy that could be a blossoming, possible good tight end.
Okay, excellent points.
Yes.
However, Greg Olsen when healthy, is probably one of the top tight ends in the league when healthy. I know that's a big caveat. And for a young quarterback, what's he need?
He needs
a really
tight
good tight end.
He needs a tight end who can catch
and get open.
Yes.
And Greg Olsen can still do that when he's on the field.
Yes.
So the risk reward wasn't there. I think Greg Olsen probably made the choice to go to Seattle because he can win in Seattle.
Yes, absolutely.
He's not going to be a rebuild.
I mean, if you look at it, what of the quarterback choices that you would have?
Absolutely.
It's Russell.
Yes, Russell.
It's Russell. Okay.
Right.
So there's that.
I think it gives us some insight into this whole free agency thing with Washington. And the point I was trying to make is that, maybe that saved them from spending money that they shouldn't have spent on Greg Olsen. So you can take that $7 million if that's what the number was, and you don't know what Washington offered him or anything, but you can take that $7 million and say, what can we do with that $7 million? How can we get 2 players for that? Can we get 1 player for that? What kind of upgrade can we get? I think the key is going to be there's going to be players out there that can help them. How can they fit them in the budget, and how can they fit them into the scheme that they're trying to do?
Yes.
So it looks like Rivera's going to probably have some vets. The draft's going to be important. But you wonder, Winston, if they're looking at this thing like, hey, we might be able to get to 6, 7, 8 wins if we make some bold moves. Or does he say, look, we're just going to go ahead and just take it from the bottom up, and we're going to get a bunch of young guys, and I'm going to teach them the ropes, and I'm going to teach them the way that we're going to do things in Ashburn from now on, and we're just going to build this thing. That is going to be the draft, and free agency is going to tell us a lot about the direction of the team. Do they stand pat and say, okay, we got this cap space, but we're not going to go out and do anything crazy. As a matter of fact, we're going to put everything into the draft, and that's how we're going to do it. Or we're going to make some shrewd picks. Now, if they go out there and spend $20 or $30 million on somebody, one player, and try to do a big splash move, I think that's gonna fail.
Yeah. Well, I mean, has failed for this team in the past. So
correct.
I think, what the difference is that you are seeing with this team now is that I don't think the management or the front office is afraid to, basically tell somebody, give them the 2 fingers before they're actually, before they're past their prime.
Right.
So in that aspect, you see advancement as far as that is concerned, making those personnel decisions at the right time instead of waiting 1 year too late or not. I can only imagine what this situation would have been like had Ron been in his position now with the Trent Williams saga that was last year. Okay. I believe Ron would have traded him as soon as Trent did not report for that mini camp.
I agree.
But the previous regime decided,
it's a change. It's going to be a change. We're going to see what direction they want to go and how much they trust their player personnel guys and what Doug Williams' role is, because everybody's got a role to play. So I looked at Greg Olsen as kind of like the first domino, just to kind of see how that was going on. As soon as they released him, I'm like, oh, he's coming to Washington. And sure enough, he came to Washington. But I didn't think they were going to be able to sign him because he wants to win at that stage. For 35 years old, you definitely want to go through a rebuild. Seattle's close to winning a title. They're right there on the cusp, right? So I just think that this is interesting to see who's out there. We're going to see a lot more names of cap casualties. This is that time of the year where teams are like, we're not going to pay so-and-so that much money, or we're gonna bite the bullet on the cap. So you're going to see a lot of names out there that are going to come available. A lot of veterans, maybe some guys that can help them. So we'll see if they swoop in based on need, or swoop in based on ability, or what they decide. Because the free agent class out there is pretty deep.
It is deep.
But all the good players are going to want mucho money. Mucho money.
Well, I mean, look, the Redskins now have some cap space.
Some.
And imagine if they end up getting rid of, say, Trent Williams or something like that. They would have a whole lot more cap space.
Have a lot more cap space.
So,
but you run you let that happen. Now there's your rebuild.
Yes,
You're gonna be
now we're in
rebuild,
rebuild,
bro.
and you might get Dwayne Haskins killed. All right.
That's true, too.
Also, other news that's coming out just this evening is that tight end Jordan Reed out of concussion protocol. So now that will leave the team with the decision of whether or not to release him or whether or not they want to keep him.
You know they have to release him.
Okay.
They have
Is
to.
that a good move?
Yes.
Why?
Because you cannot depend on him to be there. It's all about productivity. It's about being there. And as talented as he is, and we know how he's uber talented.
Mm-hmm.
When he's on the field, he is in that top tier of tight ends in this league.
Yep.
You could put him up against anybody. He's got that skill set. You can't invest $8 million on the cap with him. You can't do it. And quite frankly, I don't know if they want to be responsible for anything else that happens to the young man. You don't want that. I wouldn't want that on my watch.
Yeah.
And you can't tell somebody how they're supposed to proceed with their career.
Live your life.
Yeah. You can't tell that man how to live his life. But you hope that he makes the right decision for him and his family. Yes. And that's all you can do. His time here, that year with RG and him was magical.
Yes.
They were dynamic. They were a dynamic duo. Young quarterback, young ascending tight end. And as great as that was, to see him carted off, time and time again. And to just get out of concussion protocol after almost, it seemed like a year, but it wasn't a year, but, the whole football season.
Yes.
And just to say now he's cleared, it just doesn't feel right. It doesn't seem right. He's got a lot of decisions to make. I'm sure he's probably kind of figured out what he wanted to do and how he wants to go with his career. I just hope he makes the right decision for him. And if he wants to keep playing, he can keep playing. But who's going to take
games?
But who's going to take that risk? Who's going to take that risk and say, okay, you can come and play with us, knowing that if he gets rocked in a game, that could be catastrophic.
Guess who? Bill Belichick.
He'd have to be
Bill
very desperate
Belichick.
to do that.
Bill Belichick will take him, scoop him up, keep him on the sideline for about, good 3/4 of the season. He'll come in, say week 12, contribute maybe 5 or 6 catches. No, I take that back. Not 5 or 6. He may run maybe about 20 snaps.
I don't think it's worth the risk to have a young man out there with that kind of concussion history. I really don't think that teams see the value in having a situation like that. And if, God forbid, if something would happen on your watch, if you brought the young man in, I just think these kind of things are going to have to play themselves out, and that, things will happen.
Yeah.
So we'll see. But, I think the team right now, I don't think they have any choice but to release him. They need the cap space. They need the cap space.
Maurice Hawkins checking in. Thank you very much for watching. Says, what's up with the 80s rock music in the background? I don't know. Cam, is there any 80s music playing in the background?
You can talk to BJ on that one. Our boss only has one track downloaded that we're supposed to play beneath everything, and so this is in everything.
Oh man, what
80s
tune
rock
is
music.
it? No, what tune is it?
Oh, it's just generic.
Is this generic
Just
80s
generic
rock?
80s rock.
Come on, at least be
it's
something
beautiful.
like. Come on, I don't mind the 80s rock, but at least let it be something like.
You think BJ's gonna buy the rights to something?
Yeah.
Come on.
Come on, some Aerosmith or something like. I know that's it is what it is. All right, look, let's take a quick break. We'll be right back on Redskins Relaunch and more of the 80s music, 80s rock. We'll talk about
Party on, dude.
No, why not? Everybody loves 80s rock. It's better than yacht rock or whatever. Anyway, look, we got to talk about why this guy has this shirt on. We'll be right back.
This content is brought to you by Dental Associates. For more than 39 years, Dr. Stephen Price has been practicing dentistry in Northern Virginia. A member of the American Dental Association, the Northern Virginia Dental Society, and the Virginia Dental Society, Price is considered an expert in Invisalign and continues to be an award-winning innovator in the industry. This content is brought to you by Dental Associates. For more than 39 years, Dr. Stephen Price has been practicing dentistry in Northern Virginia. A member of the American Dental Association, the Northern Virginia Dental Society, and the Virginia Dental Society, Price is considered an expert in Invisalign and continues to be an award-winning innovator in the industry.
All right, welcome back to Redskins Relaunch. I'm your host, Winston Hylton. You can get at me, Sports Talk NC8. It's something there it is. Sports Talk NC8 on Twitter, or you can comment right now on DMV Stream on our live post, our live stream right now. All right, so I'm joined here with Colvin Underwood, and he has some kind of funky shirt on. It's all black. It's got some kind of, phonetic spelling on it or something. I don't know what this is. I didn't want to talk about this at all tonight, but
why not?
I
Why
mean,
not?
because
in this town,
look,
this town of winners, you don't want to bring another
yes,
winner
you're
on.
right. This town of winners.
We
This
got a town.
This town.
Wait a minute.
This town.
We are the world champions of professional football.
We are the world
When's the last time
champions
they
of
said that
professional
around? When's the last
baseball.
time they said that around here? It's been a while.
Actually, the Washington Valor.
Oh, there you go.
Oh, come on.
Thank you. Hey, professional football. You didn't say NFL. You didn't.
I am basking in the glow
I see.
of a Super Bowl win that was well deserved. A
see.
team that has come back three times in the playoffs from 10 points down and won. Truly remarkable. Still on cloud nine. Went to the parade. We jumped on the plane. Went back to KC for the parade. It was cold. But we were happy.
City, yeah.
And me
I would
and my
imagine you were
friends,
happy.
we were ecstatic, and so it's just been a fairy tale ride, and it's felt so good. It's been 50 years since the Chiefs have won the Super Bowl, so I'm gonna soak it in as much as I can, and I'm gonna say this right now: back to back.
I mean,
Back to back.
the Vegas odds for you guys repeating. You guys have the lowest odds.
The
Obviously,
disrespect. We've got the best quarterback in the last 20 some odd years. Our head coach is an offensive genius. Our defense was trash, but good enough
I wouldn't
to
say trash.
withstand.
You know
but
what's
good
trash?
Enough, but good enough
Yes.
to get there. You tweak that defense, you cross your fingers, nobody gets hurt, and you bring in a little something on offense. A lot of the mocks have Kansas City maybe getting at like Jonathan Taylor from Wisconsin. Somebody of that ilk.
Yeah.
A big time running back in that
You don't
system.
need a big time running back.
Holy
You really don't.
smokes, You don't. But we got, just like everybody else, we have free agents that we have to sign. Chris Jones, who's our best defensive lineman, is going to get paid.
Yeah.
He'll probably get franchised.
Yeah, he might be walking.
But we might lose. Here's a name to all the fans around here: Brashad Breeland, who was our number one cornerback and who really played well for the Chiefs. He's going to be a free agent.
He made a pick in the Super
Yeah,
Bowl.
he sure did. And good counsel product.
Kendall Fuller.
Made a pick in the Super Bowl.
I thought you were going to say Dorian O'Daniel.
But you know what? Dorian Daniel's going to get more playing time next year. He's somebody they're really high on. So here's the thing. They're not going to be able to keep Breeland and Fuller. This is what happens when you win and you win a championship.
Everybody wants some cash.
Everybody wants to get paid off of going to the Super Bowl, particularly guys who played well. And looming is a potential – how much money do you think Mahomes is going to get when his deal's up? And it's up after next year.
Yeah.
All of it.
Hey, look.
All they have.
Well, I mean,
seriously.
seriously.
Give him Apple money. Okay, that's how
Give him
much money.
Apple money
Give him
and
Apple
some
money.
Bitcoin.
Give him Microsoft cash. Give him, you know what? Give him Amazon money because that's the type of money we're talking about for that gentleman.
What's the number? What is the number? Is it? I mean, can
What's the highest contract now? 50 guaranteed, and that's to
he's
who?
He's gonna. I'm saying 200 million guaranteed.
For a football player.
That's 40 million per year for 5 years. Guaranteed.
That's
Now, Kirk Cousins is got about that much guaranteed in those franchise tags in this deal with Minnesota. So if that's the number, if Kirk Cousins is around, he's around what, 150?
Yeah.
Something like that, maybe 160. Come on, Mahomes.
See if he
is
plays
twice
out that contract.
Mahomes is twice as good as he is. That's 320 million right there. So if I'm Kansas City, I'm going to go ahead and play the long game. I'm going to give him not 100, not 200. I'm going to give him 300 million. I'm going to give him
We're
300
talking about
million.
astronomical number for a
with that.
huh?
No quarterback has won with over $32 million a year in
Correct.
salary.
Correct.
So while Mahomes is historically great, you got 52
rest of the
other
team.
roster spots to fill out.
So?
Okay. I mean, look, if he could block and throw himself the ball,
That's why
I'm for
That's why they're general managers on the team. That's why they're player personnel guys on the team. You have to make a choice of what you're going to do. And go ahead and pay the young man right now because, look, he's not going anywhere. They're not going to lose him. And then think about this. We joke about $200 million being the number, but that's just his first. No, that's his second contract.
come off the rookie deal.
Off
yes.
the rookie deal. So let's say for the next 5 years he plays at this level that he's at right now, and let's say the next 5 years the Chiefs win at least another 2 Super Bowls.
Ooh.
By the time he gets to 30, he could be at $400 million.
Okay. I mean, woo. Okay.
Astronomical numbers. Now we don't blink when it's baseball.
No.
Bryce Harper got 330. Oh, Bryce Harper.
Guess how many games they play a year?
162.
Yeah.
But football's way more dangerous than baseball.
A lot more years, though.
Dangerous. Yes.
130 over 10 years for Harper versus 5 years for Mahomes, right?
But look at Mahomes' impact. Look at Mahomes' impact not only to Kansas City but to the National Football League. Bryce Harper ain't even talking you're not even talking about that kind of cultural kind of icon that Mahomes could be for football that Harper's not even scratching the surface of.
Had Bryce stayed in D.C., he would have been because the team would have won a World Series with him on the team.
Maybe. We don't know that.
We don't.
We don't know that at all. So I'm saying Mahomes is generational as a quarterback. Is that such a word? He's transcendent.
It
How
is
about
now.
transcendent?
It is now.
There you go.
Yes.
He's transcendent as a quarterback, Winston. So what that means is that it would behoove everybody, and the league will get paid handsomely if Mahomes keeps on this track of greatness. This is all going to filter down because then the NFL is going to, when their deals come up, they're going to ask way more money. We're going to see the Chiefs every weekend, which is not a bad thing.
For you, yes.
Yes, it's going to be a fantastic thing. And with the sales of gear and, phone covers and all that stuff.
Nobody wants to see
look, this is a new era. This is a new era, and it's not just a baseball cap. This is the Mahomes era. And now we want to see how many titles this young man can get. I say 3. That's the over-under. 3.
You just said 2 in the next 5 years, and now you're going to
okay,
cap
there's
at
3 right there. So there's 3 and 5. Put another 3, 6. He needs 7 to beat Brady. He needs 7 to beat San Francisco, and he needs 7 to beat Pittsburgh. So 7 is the number. Okay, he's got to win 7 titles, and he's only been in the league 4 years, 3 years.
3 years.
So that means he's probably got another 15.
No, 3 years.
He's got another 15. So that's 7 titles in 15 years. That's doable.
Ooh, man, I know it's legal in D.C., but man, I don't think it's legal in Virginia yet. I don't think so. Okay, good.
I'm just clearing my throat.
Yeah.
So we'll see what happens. It's been great, guys. I can't complain. I've watched the game several times.
I'm sure you have. Don't act like you
I
weren't.
sleep in this. I mean, this is
You
a
weren't
beautiful
sweating
thing.
bullets. Fourth quarter.
You know what was funny? There was a sequence there. Oh, when they picked him and the whole team ran to the end zone, they started doing the flex and the pose. I'm like, do y'all really know who y'all messing with? Y'all messing with the young master here. And sure enough.
But up until that point,
up until that time,
San Francisco was handling business.
San Francisco did a great job. They're I know we're going to talk about their D-line and stuff. That's why you have 4 guys that can get after the passer. Because it didn't make any difference how bad or good they were in the back 7. Their front 4 was wrecking havoc on Kansas City. And you can see that Mahomes was not in his rhythm. In fact, Mahomes looked like a second-year starting quarterback. He looked normal. He looked like a young quarterback would look in a big game that was facing that kind of pressure. Now, here's the difference. For whatever reason, you can blame Kyle Shanahan for not running the football. I think Andy Reid going to the no huddle when he did was the game changer, because they were getting so much pressure from San Francisco. San Francisco eventually just gave out.
Yes.
And once they gave out, it was cake. It was a done deal. Now Mahomes had the lanes to throw in. He throws the bomb to Tariq. You know, that was when that play happened.
That was the turn.
You thought, wow,
that was the turn.
This is really going to happen
Absolutely.
like this. And then from San Francisco couldn't do anything like that. And then the Chiefs' defense was good enough to take advantage of the momentum that the offense had given them. One thing when you're building this team, all these Redskins, when you're building a team, your defense, it's gotta meld together. You got to put a defense out there that can get stops. You got to get a defense that can get turnovers. You got to do that because that's going to pump up your offense. But you got to make your offense decent too, so they can take advantage of it.
Yes.
So as it stands right now, Washington's not in that position.
Nope, not right now.
Their defense doesn't create enough turnovers and that kind of buzz, and their offense just isn't good enough.
Right.
So now they can look and say, okay, we can point to one of front four like San Francisco's. We want an offensive line like Kansas City's.
Yes.
We want that
offensive. I don't know if
decent enough to get you to the Super Bowl. The left tackle and the right tackle are way above average for Kansas City.
For Kansas City.
Yes. So
but
if your right tackle played Mitchell Schwartz, the Redskins would be fine.
I don't know.
Okay.
I don't know.
We ain't talking about Eric Fisher and Trent Williams. And Trent Williams is better left tackle than Eric Fisher.
Absolutely.
But look at the interior of the line in Kansas City. And although San Francisco defensive line, Winston is way better than most people's defensive line.
Absolutely.
So the Chiefs met the match of what they had to do, but there's something there that you can copy and say, hey, we want that continuity. Or hey, we got to protect the kid.
Yes.
We got to protect.
We
got to protect the franchise.
Priority number one.
Priority number one. And then we have to build what? We have to put weapons around it. Look what Kansas City did. Travis Kelce was a 4th-round pick. Mm-hmm. Nicole Hardman is a 2nd-round pick. Tyreek fell in the draft.
Yes.
Sammy Watkins is a veteran.
He's a cast-off.
Yes. Dude. But in that system, system is everything. And what's offensive coordinator? Scott Turner. Scott Turner for the Redskins.
Correct.
How's he going to build a team? How are you going to build it out? Base what you see on the good teams that are out there and how far Washington is from being good and having players of that same ilk that do the things that San Francisco and Kansas City or any other teams in the playoffs got to. What are some of those things? You got to have a strong offensive line.
Yep.
You got to have a strong defensive line. You got to have weapons on offense, and you got to have some decent pieces on defense. You got to have a couple of corners that can hold up, and you definitely need some linebackers that can run to the football. If you do that, maybe you got something.
We'll have to see, because this team does have depth at some positions.
Yes, it does.
Defensive line being one of them.
Very strong.
And they could add to that depth at number 2, which is something that we'll get to in the next segment. That's called the segue, ladies and gentlemen.
Awesome segue. I just want you to know that.
Yes, thank you very much. We'll talk about the Redskins, what they need to do at this second pick of the NFL draft coming up in April. This is Redskins Relaunch. We'll be right back.
This content is brought to you by Dental Associates. For more than 39 years, Dr. Stephen Price has been practicing dentistry in Northern Virginia. A member of the American Dental Association, the Northern Virginia Dental Society, and the Virginia Dental Society, Price is considered an expert in Invisalign and continues to be an award-winning innovator in the industry. DMVSTREAM.COM, the Mid-Atlantic's leader in sports video, broadcasting, and live streaming. Contact us today to learn more about our services and streaming packages. Visit us on the web at DMVSTREAM.COM. That's DMVSTREAM.COM.
All right, welcome back to Redskins Relaunch. I'm your host, Winston Hylton. Thank you very much for joining us this evening. We're talking Redskins, we're talking Chiefs, we're talking other DC sports. But right now, let's get back into the Redskins. We got to figure out what this team needs to do. Look, the team has a very important process to go through, and that is the process of finding out what they want to do at that number 2 pick. not only the number 2 pick, but you also have to vet and screen and look at all of the talent that is coming through the NFL draft. Because now you do have number 2, but you also have a 3rd round pick, 4th round, 5th, 6th, so on and so forth. Don't have a second yet, but hopefully maybe some moves will be made. I don't know, Riverboat Ron. Go ahead, throw them cards out. But back to the main point is, what do the Redskins need to do at that number 1 pick? What should they do with that number 2 pick? Obviously, with Cincinnati in front of them, Cincinnati needing a quarterback, the Redskins are in line possibly to take Chase Young. But should they take Chase Young? Should they trade the pick? What say you? A lot of people that I've talked to, it's pretty much kind of split 50-50. Trade the pick or take Chase Young. I think a lot of the people that want to take Chase Young are people that are local and that want to see a local kid come back to DC or what have you.
Makes sense.
A lot of people that are not Redskins fans, that are, or not necessarily Redskins fans, but not residents of the DMV, but are Redskins fans. Some of them say, you know what, trade the pick, get more assets, and you can still pick up a great player at pick 6 rather than Chase Young. A lot of people are talking about Jerry Jeudy. Some other, yeah, sure. I mean, but is he which guy of the 2 would you take? Exactly.
Between who?
Between Chase Young and Jerry Jeudy.
Now, I'm going to pause because Jerry Judy's a monster.
Yeah.
But we know, if there's one thing that we know, Winston, is that wide receiver is an unknown in the NFL. It's an unknown. For every Calvin Johnson and A.J. Green,
there's a Terry McLaurin.
There's Terry McLaurin who had first round ability that dropped to the 3rd. I'm thinking about my man from that Baltimore took. Perriman.
Hollywood.
No.
Oh.
Remember he took
Perriman.
Right. Because they needed speed on the outside and all those things. So they drafted him in the mid-1st round back in the day, and he never panned out.
Never.
Now, Hollywood came in with a nice grade, and he proved to be pretty decent, but it took him a while to kind of get going, and he had a couple of injuries too. But you don't know what you're going to get at wide receiver. However, this draft is super deep at wide receiver. So I don't think you would take the wide receiver at 2 unless you felt that that was the best player on your board.
Right.
So for Washington, if they want to get a receiver, I think they can wait to get a receiver. Chase Young is, a lot of people say he's the best player in the draft. And so that might supersede anything that you want to do if somebody calls you and say, I want to make a deal. Because Chase Young is one of those exceptional talents, gets after the passer, plays with a high motor. You already have nice pieces on the defensive line. You add a shiny piece. Montez Sweat has flashed in that first year, and you could really have something nice on that defensive line.
Yeah.
However,
there's a but.
There's a but. What we talked about this earlier. How fast do you want this to happen? If you take Chase Young, to me, you're signaling that, hey, we're going to take our time with the process. We're going to take the process.
Yeah.
We're going to trust the process.
Oh, boy.
If you move out of that pick for more picks, that tells me that you want to speed it up a little bit. That tells me that you have so many holes that need to be filled, and this draft to you is deep, and you can fill them and get extra picks, you're going to do it. So now this becomes philosophy. I think, though, what's going to happen is I think they're going to take Chase Young. And I think because Rivera's a defensive guy, and he's trying to change culture, and it's all about toughness, and I think for an organization that's having problems putting butts in the seats, that a local kid, the shiny local kid
that's a Dan Snyder move.
It checks all the boxes. It hits need, it hits the pocketbook, it hits fans, it hits locals. You can say to all the locals, look, we're going to take a local guy, and we're going to do this the right way. and Rivera's out there, and he's gonna be our guy and our one voice, and it's just so many positive things about taking Chase Young. I think they're gonna outweigh somebody that wants to move up, unless somebody blows you away. And I think the team out there, and I know they fired Jay Gruden, and I know John Gruden. I get that, but the Raiders have 2 picks in the first round. They're 2 mid picks in the first round, and that would be the proper medicine for Washington. You could go down and get your offensive lineman. You can go down and get your wide receiver. You can go down and get another defensive lineman. You can go down and get a cornerback. You can go down and get a linebacker. That would give you so much flexibility to do some things.
Yes.
So you just don't know who's going to fall in love with Tua and feel that Detroit will take him at 3 if you believe what Mel Kiper says. You don't know what Cincinnati's going to do because now there's smoke signals coming out from Burrow's camp that he doesn't really want to go to Cincinnati, and who could blame him? Who could blame him? Yeah, that's a disaster.
The story that came out last week about I think there was a petition for people to get tax breaks or something like that. Or no, I'm sorry, it was medicinal marijuana.
Oh, I saw that.
Because they need medicinal marijuana because they are Cleveland Brown and Cincinnati Bengals fans. All right.
That's real talk.
Fine, sure.
That's real talk. But if you believe what everybody says, is Detroit, I mean, does Detroit call Washington and say, hey, man, look, we got to have this dude. We've got to have him.
Yeah.
We either got to have Burrow or we got to have Tua, whoever that person is, and say, hey, man, look, we'll kick you another number. We'll kick you a number 1 next year, and we'll give you you're missing a 2 this year, we'll give you that 2.
Right.
And let's do the deal like that. I mean, Washington has to listen.
To everybody, absolutely.
And guess what? If Tua checks out, and I keep saying this, if he checks out and things have said so far that his hip is fine, or maybe somebody wants to get Justin Herbert.
Yeah, that's the wild card that I was gonna.
Maybe
that's all I was gonna say.
Yeah, maybe he's that shiny thing.
Mm-hmm.
And look at the teams, Winston.
It's like the Sam Darnold.
Correct.
Just
like Sam Darnold.
Just like Sam Darnold.
Yes.
Just one of those kids that's kind of out there.
Agreed. That's a very good point. So let's look at the teams behind Washington that need a quarterback. So
Miami.
Detroit at 3.
Yeah.
Miami at 5.
Yep. And now San Diego. Hello.
Now with no Phillip Rivers.
Yes.
How about the Carolina Panthers?
Are they
7?
Is Carolina ready to move on from Cam Newton? I don't think so.
Maybe they need a replacement for Cam Newton. Maybe. How about the Jacksonville Jaguars at 9?
All that money they just paid Nick Foles.
Yeah, but you know
what? They have Mustache Gardner. So
true, but again, do they think to a team that needs to put people in the seats and that needs a star, needs some star appeal? Maybe Tua plays at Alabama, North Florida, something to think about.
The guy the team you could really probably bank on to move up, maybe, like you have been saying, is Oakland.
Vegas.
You know what? They're
LA
just going to be they're just going to be Oakland, okay?
The Raiders.
I remember them from LA, and then all of a sudden, all my folks in Oakland.
12 and 19, they have to pick 12 and 19.
Yeah.
Would that be enough to loosen the second pick? I would say probably it would take 3 picks and not necessarily 3 number 1s
to get two ones and
but at
third or fourth.
12 and 19 in this draft, you can get better quickly.
Yes.
You can improve the team so much quicker with those 2 picks in a draft that's deep at wide receiver, at a draft where if you need a linebacker, it's just, a safety. You look at some of the names down here, the good football players that are going to be available in that range. I mean, you got to think about it. Shouldn't you think about it? You got to think about it.
I mean, like you said, if somebody comes in and blows you away with an offer,
right,
you have to listen. You have to seriously consider it, and you might even have to take it.
Right.
Even if it is, I mean, hindsight's always going to be 20/20. You're never going to know what a player's going to pan out to be because we thought Sewell Cravens was going to be a monster. We thought, Devin Thomas, Malcolm Kelly, one of those guys.
Oh, wow.
We thought they were
You
going
really gonna go back.
We thought they were the next coming of
how about
Calvin Johnson.
How about Josh Dotson?
Josh Dotson, same type of dude. Let's just say the Redskins should not draft a receiver in the first round.
But you look at Judy.
No.
Look at Ruggs.
The last.
Ruggs from
Okay,
Alabama.
no.
Super
Let's
monster. We're not even talking about CD Lamb.
Let's go facts.
We're not even talking about
Let's go to
CD
facts.
Lamb.
What's the last wide receiver that the Redskins took in the first round that was actually worth something? You're going to have to go back a long way. A long, long way.
Like Art Monk?
Yes, Art Monk. No, Art Monk. That is the last receiver that the Redskins took in the first round that actually proved to be something.
It wasn't Desmond Howard.
No, it wasn't Desmond Howard, wasn't Malcolm Kelly, wasn't Devin Thomas, wasn't Josh Dotson, none of those guys. So let's not do that again.
But you know what though? I look at
They have a good track record with linemen.
They have a very good, but the thing is that tackle. First of all, you wouldn't want to take a guard. I don't think that high. And the two tackles. You know, you're talking about Andrew Thomas from Georgia, who grades out as one of the top guys. Maybe Jedrick Wills from Alabama. The kid from Iowa. I'm looking here. All those they're pretty good offensive linemen. You wouldn't take them at 2 anyway.
Right.
So, you know, you'd have to move down in the draft to get them. So there's some depth. There's some depth in that first round that they can tap into. But going back to our original thesis,
Number two,
man. Well, take Chase Young. Call it a day. Take Chase Young. Call it a day. Especially because the fan base doesn't trust what the organization's going to do.
But
anyway.
here's the deal: if look, Cincinnati could throw a wrench. I mean,
if Cincinnati takes Chase Young,
oh man,
all hell's going to break loose.
Gosh. I mean, look, the D.C. area is going to be ready to throw napalm bombs to Cincinnati, just like that. Everybody.
But Cincinnati could look back and say, hey, you know, Burrow wasn't going to come. This is a guy who played at Ohio State. Talk about somebody needs to put seats. You can put butts in the seats. In Cincinnati, you get a Buckeye, your number 1 pick in Cincinnati. That's a big win for them. That's a huge win for them. So if that happens, then you can just throw everything out because now your board is open and you're looking because now you don't really need a quarterback. You will get a call then.
Yes. Oh yeah. Everybody's going to be looking for Burrow.
They'll be like, yo, man, you're not going to take no quarterback. What y'all want to do?
You know what? Yes, we are going to take a quarterback. Matter of fact, here, you can have Dwayne Haskins. Oh, did I say that? Oh, no. You can have, you have Dwayne Haskins. I'm taking Joe Burrow.
I would dare them. I would double dog
everybody,
dare them.
Every other executive would do the same thing.
I would double dog dare them to show that kind of, you know, guess what? We're going to take Tua.
Cardinals did it.
Yeah, hold on, though. If Joe Burrow doesn't want to go to Cincinnati, why would he want to come to Washington?
It's Washington.
Because it's Cincinnati.
It's Washington.
Because it's Washington.
Nothing against it. I have family in Cincinnati.
It's Washington.
It's D.C. It's the
nation's
capital.
It's the nation's capital. And he would be, can you imagine Joe Burrow? Would be. Woo,
he'd be the second coming of
Tom
Brady. He'd be Tom Brady already.
He'd be the best thing since.
Oh, no.
Oh,
he would be the second coming of Sonny Jurgensen.
Oh, man. They would throw rose petals all the way from Dulles to Ashburn if you had Joe Burrow.
Yeah.
But we think that cooler heads will – we don't know, though.
Different regime, maybe, possibly. Cross fingers, don't know.
Could you imagine if that happened?
If they ended up taking Chase Young, back to some of our points that we brought up in the first segment, which was having a fearsome foursome, which San Francisco had. You saw what it did in the Super Bowl. You saw Bosa coming off the edge. You saw those guys getting to Patrick Mahomes. This team is going to need a front four that's going to apply pressure. Because we don't know what the linebackers are going to look like, and we don't know what the secondary is going to look like.
Let's take it one step further. Look at your division. Dak Prescott.
Dak, yep.
Carson Wentz.
Uh-huh.
Danny Dimes.
Yes. So you're
three quarterbacks you're going to have to deal with
for the next 12 years.
Right.
Yes.
So you're going to have to be able to apply pressure. You're going to have to be able to collapse the pocket. You're going to have to be able to control the line of scrimmage. So that front four might give you the opportunity to do that in a division where quarterback play is above average.
Yes.
And so if you want to beat your division rivals, you're going to have a strong front four.
Absolutely.
And so now everything points to Chase Young.
Yeah.
Everything points to Chase Young.
Yeah.
You're looking at it just straight X's and O's and just very factual. This is what you got to have.
Yeah. And maybe it's just an easy decision. Take Chase and roll with it, and then you have Chase Young, Kerrigan maybe, Montez Sweat, Payne, Allen, Ioannidis. Woo!
And then
settle. Don't forget about Settle.
Yeah, that's a very nice rotation.
Yeah.
A very young rotation, a very active rotation with a defensive coordinator in Jack Del Rio that knows how to let the dogs loose, and then Rivera too. I mean, that if you want to bolster the defense and you want to be a defensive first team and you want to play those 21-14 games, those 20-17 games, and 17-14 games, keep your team in the game, you get Chase Young and you add him into that mix and then bolster it with some linebacker play and bolster it with some DBs, you might have something.
Speaking of defense, the DC Defenders. 2-0 in the XFL season. 7 takeaways in the first 2 games. They've already had 2 pick sixes. They've blocked a punt for a touchdown. I don't know of a team that has had a better, initial start than the Defenders. I mean, they're just kind of running shop on the XFL.
Impressive. Very impressive. And I think when they built the team, they went veteran. They have a lot of NFL experience, guys that have had NFL experience, and you can see that in the league so far. It's going to be exciting to see how they progress as the season begins. Is it a flash in the pan because they played at home and it's 2-0? Don't let them get to 5 or 6-0.
Oh,
this
man.
town might act a fool.
They might try to move
XFL.
Might try to move the games to FedEx Field, and then we'll finally see what kind of a home field advantage that stadium can have. Did I say that out loud?
Yes, you did.
I did. All right. Moving on to other sports. Hey, look, the NBA All-Star game was over the weekend. Did you like it? The All-Star game was fantastic. That fourth quarter was very riveting, very entertaining. You saw Team LeBron win 157, Team Giannis 156 on a free throw. That's the only bad thing, but that's all right. It got very competitive in that last couple of minutes or what have you. Also, the weekend, of course, started off with the celebrity game. Okay, I'm good on that. Kids love it though. That's fine. The skills challenge. Okay, sure. It's not hockey skills challenge. That's of all of your all-star festivities. That's where that competition belongs in the hockey.
The Saturday night thing is kind of.
Oh, did you not watch
the dunk contest?
You didn't watch the three-point shootout. Davis Bertans was in there. He was letting it fly. He was doing all right. But Buddy Hield is just
Buddy Hield's a monster.
Buddy Hield's a shooter. So is Devin Booker. He's very good at the basketball.
Yes.
But the slam dunk contest. Mm-hmm. All right. Here's my thoughts on the slam dunk contest. You had your competitors, Pat Connaughton. Mm-hmm. You had Dwight Howard for what? You had, I'm just saying, Derek Jones Jr. and you had Aaron Gordon. Aaron Gordon, of course, a strong competitor in the slam dunk competition. What, 2017, 2018? I think it was.
Yes.
It was a couple years ago.
Yes.
Either way, he ended up falling short to Zach LaVine, who was also in the three-point shootout.
Yes. That was one of the best dunk contests. Him and LaVine that was a monster.
That was good.
Dunk. Yes. You remember.
Until Sunday.
You remember that. Yes. And that one surpassed it. It did add some excitement. The young guys both those guys were phenomenal. And now we're just talking about, the dunk contest should never come down to technicalities. It's a dunk contest. So if he's trying to jump over Taco Fall and he just kind of clips him a little bit, so what? He made the dunk.
He did.
He made the dunk, and he took a chance, and there it is. You give him points based on his creativity. So what Dwayne Wade did was took care of his dude from Miami, and that was the end of it. And even at that, it was cool because it added controversy and got people to talk about the event.
On Wednesday. Yes,
So
absolutely.
it worked. So the NBA the NBA always does a nice job with the All-Star.
They know what they're
make
doing.
They really do. And then the things for Kobe were just outstanding. It just struck the right tone. It was kind of sad to watch, but and David Stern, because I thought David Stern
was
really
lost
didn't
in
get.
the sauce.
I really didn't think David Stern people really understand how
big he was,
and he was, and how
not only the NBA but in sports.
He set the template for sports on cable television.
Yes.
Think about it. The NBA is a pay-per-view league. It is a pay-per-view. When you watch the games on ESPN and TNT, you are paying for those games in your cable.
Yes, you are.
And so the NFL saw that. The NHL saw that. And Major League Baseball saw that. To the point now that all three of those entities have playoffs on cable. Because ESPN shows the first weekend wild card game.
They do.
So that's all a result of David Stern. So I think it struck the right chord, and it really did set you up for the end of the season for the NBA and to build that excitement that the league wants to get. It did a great job.
Yeah, they did. They did a good job of honoring Kobe and all of the victims from the helicopter crash, as well as David Stern.
Yes.
I just wish that Derrick Jones Jr. would have dunked anything other than the hold between the legs. He did that 3 straight dunks, and you're sitting there like, wait, he just did the same dunk. All right, let's moving on. Caps defense not good. Setting up Braden Holtby for just for failure. Look, when you have a strong defense, you have good goaltending. Sometimes your goaltending can overcome that, but a lot of times not going to work out too well. But really and truly what I wanted to get to before we closed out the show, we have about 30 seconds left, was the Nationals are back. The Nationals are back. Spring training just began on Monday, or really, truly, over the weekend. Pitchers and catchers reported. Now, players are now there. They're hanging up signs all over West Palm Beach at the complex. Who the Nationals share with who? The Astros. Oh, I bet you. Look, here's the deal. Let's take a quick bet. 20 seconds. Do you think any Astros players will get plunked in spring training?
It's just how many.
Okay, good. That's it. With that said, look, we got to run. You can catch each and every episode of Redskins Relaunch right here on DMVSTREAM.COM. For that, thank you, Colvin Underwood, for joining us tonight. Cam hitting the switches over there. We will see you again here next week on Redskins Relaunch. See you next week. Bye.
This content is brought to you by Dental Associates. For more than 39 years, Dr. Stephen Price has been practicing dentistry in Northern Virginia. A member of the American Dental Association, the Northern Virginia